but you're not live. So I was trying to figure out what you're doing.
I went live. Okay.
You got too wrapped up in the conversation.
Hey, everybody. Evidently, I was not live. This happens from time to time. No. Anyway.
Well, I tell you,
We're live now. We're live now. So it is.
I remember when I used to drink Coca-Cola. Man,
Uh-huh.
I miss that stuff. The caffeine.
Used to. What?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I don't drink any. I drink water. That's it. I don't drink
water.
Zero caffeine.
So this
And-
is what you. This is what you're like, uncaffeinated.
Dude, that's totally true. I used to drink. I was like guzzling Red Bulls and shit. I mean,
Oh
in
my
my 30s.
God.
Used to
Oh,
love. I still love caffeine.
Yeah. I mean, you probably vibrated when you was on caffeine. You're this hyper without it.
Actually, if I take like a small, if I drink half that can, I'd be up all, right now at least I'd be up all night. But back then I could drink a Red Bull at 10 o'clock and go to bed.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
tolerance is not the same, so it sucks.
Right.
It sucks.
Hey, everybody. Just joined us. I was not live. I was not aware I was not live until Facebook started like, hey, you going to start up?
When you made that comment, the good stuff, I was like, how the fuck's he gonna hear that for not live?
I was unaware. Oh. Anyway.
what happened to
we
Chef?
lost Catapunk. I don't know what happened there. Anyway.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, seriously, something happened there. I think we skipped. I think I went to the wrong. Hold on. Yeah, I'm live there. Hey, you there? Hey,
Yeah.
man.
You got ghosted by Facebook because you started late.
Oh well, it is what it is. Oh wow, yeah.
Mr. X, or I'm sorry, Mr. X.
Ah,
So he, I don't know if you can see him.
yeah.
He's
shirtless dude.
So he is a master of all known forms of both armed and unarmed combat, including martial arts, boxing, and swordplay. He is also an expert assassin and escape artist. And so the only other guy that I think is his equal is the guy that we talked about last time, is this guy, Ogun.
Ah, yeah. Ogun tried to kill Logan, but actually Mariko is his daughter.
Is Ogun's daughter?
Yeah, is Ogun's daughter.
Really?
And he was trying to, say, I'm just sparring with Logan, but he was trying to kill him. And he was doing a good job of it, and Logan, to save himself, killed him.
Wow.
And so that was that broke him up permanently, I think.
They've really elevated people like Wolverine and Sabretooth, skill-wise. They used to be really good fighters. Now they're pinnacle, right?
Yeah.
So Wolverine's at top of the list, and I think Sabretooth is one notch down. Sabretooth has adamantium claws now.
Oh, really? Wow.
I did not know that.
Adamantium
does?
claws.
Yeah, I guess he had a adamantium envy,
Mm-hmm.
as they say, So yeah, he's enhanced now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, that's a great idea. Let's give that dude claws. Adamantium claws. Yeah, that's a great idea.
It kind of does make sense though, because he can heal,
Uh-huh.
and at one point he's gonna go, I'm tired of being second fiddle.
Yeah, right. I don't know. They've done a lot of weird things with Sabretooth over the years. He had his own spin-off comic. I actually had a copy of
the miniseries?
The miniseries, yeah.
By Mark Texeira.
Yeah,
And
it was-
what's his name there? The guy who did G.I. Joe. Hama?
Larry Hama.
Hama, yeah.
Yeah.
It was odd. The tone of it was really weird because they tried to make him like the protagonist of the series, but he's an unrepentant, evil, vile piece of shit.
Right.
And
He
so-
should be. As he should be. That's what
And
makes
so-
him fun. That's what makes him fun.
Well, so they gave him his assistant that believed the best in him, for some unknown reason, and so he was basically trying to please her, and so he did things out of character to please her for some reason.
He was a simp.
I guess he's simping for her. I don't know, but it was just a weird story. It was just weird. I remember just the tone of it was just like, wow.
But the artwork, I remember the artwork the most.
Yeah. Oh, I know you're a
I
big
think
you're
it
a big
was
art
really
whore. So
Mark Texeira, man, that artwork is phenomenal for that series.
Yeah, I think it was.
yeah, yep.
He,
By
you
the
know,
way,
he
go ahead.
He always struck me as an artist who has massive energy level. He doesn't have. He's not going to show you the nuts and bolts on the car. That's worthless to him. His thing is to get you at the jugular with the energy.
He did a Ghost Rider one time. I think it was called Road to Perdition, maybe, or Highway to Hell. It was one of those two. And it was Ghost Rider basically goes to hell, and the
Speaking of which,
the depth of that was just incredible. Hold on. Hojo says, "Que pasa, amigos?" What's that, dude?
did you speaking of going to hell, did you watch any of these Sandman?
No, I did
No.
not. No.
Okay, do you want me to tell you?
Let me see.
Everyone is gay.
Everybody was
Dude.
gay or race or gender swapped.
At one point, they're telling a story, and the one kid walks up to the guy that does the lawn work, and he's like a darker complected guy, maybe a black guy, maybe, or he's like Northern Africa type guy.
Oh,
right?
okay.
And so the way you can just tell by the way they're dressed and the way they look at each other, yeah, this is gonna turn gay fast. And you're like, this is odd. It's very subversive. They're not showing you ahead of time, but within like 10 minutes, it's all gay. And
of course. Do what thou wilt.
so in the second story, on the third episode, he goes to hell to get his mask, and he meets Satan. And he already knows Satan because they're all part of the same kind of community or whatever. And they chose a great person to play Satan. Do you remember in the movie The Omen? You've seen that movie, right?
Which one?
Long time ago, right? The old one?
The old one. So he had a nanny who ends up dying to save
She
Danny.
hangs herself. Yeah.
So, no, but he has another nanny later on who's in the clique, big time.
Okay.
And so they have these. So the woman who plays Satan in Sandman has that kind of angelic evil. And it's like, that's fucked up. That looks perfect for if you're gonna do Satan. That's perfect. And,
I think it's Gwendolyn Christie.
Okay.
It's she's a female actress. She played Brianna Tarth from the Game of Thrones series.
Okay.
Yeah. She's a really tall for a woman, and she kind of has that, kind of
Statuesque presence.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it worked. The Constantine movie with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
That Gabriel was played by a chick, and that kind of worked because she's kind of had that androgynous look too. So.
Well, so in the story, he goes to get his mask, and some demon in hell has his mask.
Oh, okay.
And so he's like, you're thinking, he's gonna beat the shit out of this demon and just take it.
Yeah.
But you realize he can't do that legally under their laws. So he challenges him and says, he goes, if I win, you're my slave, death or dream forever. And if you win, you get the mask back, right? So, but I guess under this law, you can have somebody fight for you. And they've already established while he's walking into hell how powerful Satan is. And so he goes, well, Satan's going to be my stand-in. And that's how the story kind of goes.
Right. Well, yeah, I just had I didn't really have a lot of interest in that. The original series, I didn't have interest in it, but this I had less. And she was in the new Star Wars sequels. I wasn't that mad with her casting, seeing some of the performance. I'm just a big David Bowie, which is Lucifer's visual inspiration for Sandman. Yeah, he's.
Wait, so she was she the the stormtrooper in the armor that he's talking
Yeah.
about. That's who that
Yeah.
was.
That was her.
Okay.
Gwendolyn Christie's her name.
Well,
She's brilliant. So.
for all the bullshit they pulled in this series, they chose the
Yeah.
perfect person. So,
Well, I mean, that was like the least egregious one, I thought. I mean, I could see her doing that.
well, so the other ones I liked it, and I think it was smart. The other ones they did were agenda driven, and one of them is that
Yeah.
John Constantine's Joan Constantine,
Joanne Constantine.
Joanne or whatever. You're like,
Well, somebody's pointed out that Joanne Constantine is actually his creation. John Constantine actually belongs to other people, and so for him to get the full benefit of the money, not going to someone else, but to go to him, Neil Gaiman probably made that change for that reason.
because
But
Neil
it
Gaiman
didn't serve the story.
he has
it
no
didn't-
ideological agenda.
Oh, are you kidding me? You talking
Of
about Neil
course I'm kidding
Gaiman?
you. Of course I'm kidding you.
Come on, give me some wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Come on, man.
Yeah, right.
I was about ready to kick you. I had my finger on the button, man.
I mean, even like someone like Alan Moore probably has an agenda, but I don't.
Alan Moore has an agenda, but who knows if it's from this planet or not?
So
That's the
that's what
question.
I think I get this dark magic vibe.
Yeah.
Like Christ is not a part of his life,
No, probably
right?
not.
That's the vibe I get.
Funny thing about Alan Moore is that often when he attempts to like lampoon something, he's so damn talented he actually creates something transcendent. You know,
He is.
like he was trying to make. He took all of the Charlton comic characters that Ditko made and created the Watchmen. They weren't allowed. He wasn't allowed to use them, but he basically created like stand-ins for all of them. And but the thing about it is he's so damn talented that his stand-ins became more iconic than the Charlton characters that he was lampooning.
I know.
So,
I know.
but she was in the new stuff. Hold on. Hojo says, proven once again the only color that matters is green. Yes.
Dollar bill, y'all.
Dollar bill. Yep. Let me tell you. I tried to give my dog CBD oil. And I finally got her to eat something. She finally ate some bacon treats. You know, I hadn't tried it in a couple of days, and she was like munching them. She's munching them. I was happy she's munching them, so I was like, "Oh, let me try." I put a little CBD oil on one of them and tried to feed it to her. She immediately rejected it.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
She's like, "What do you think I am, a pothead?" Yeah.
There's no marijuana. There's no THC in.
I
CBD oil.
Dogs
I know,
are picky, man. Dogs are really picky, especially if you take care of them for so long. They like my old dog. I would chop up chicken and rice, and I would put him. She would like smell it and then go like that, and then I would make something else for her, right? So once they know that you care, they're gonna reject. They want the best, right?
Well, the only thing I've been able to get her to eat, like the last 2 eating periods, was pork chop. So she was finally I was able to feed her some pork chop.
Okay.
I'm like, you just high top shelf dog. I swear.
Your dog's eating better than me.
I'm serious, man. But,
you can always mix like honey or I hate to say it, but something sugary inside the thing.
well, she's got diabetes, so
see.
her eating or not is the life or death right now. So we're really dogs are picky. I'm pretty estranged from misinformation. Your dogs may not be picky, but mine is. But yeah, so we're having a little trouble getting her insulin settled and getting all that kind of like straightened out because to do that you need to have a consistent eating, going on, so your body regulates and you. So we all we were told is like if she doesn't eat, you can give her half a dose, but the problem is I've been giving her half a dose when she doesn't eat, and she'll eat right after that. So, so what do you do then?
Right.
So I've been meaning to call the vet and say, should we give her the second half? Then if she starts eating, but it's hard. I mean, she's just 12 years old. She's still got a few years left to her. She's a Dachshund, so she could live to be 18, 19, you know. But
Can you walk her?
yeah, well, she's pretty active. Right now, she's pretty active. She's getting weaker, I can tell.
Okay.
But she doesn't really have a lot of fat on her at the moment, you know, because she's got Cushing's, and that's like it's almost like hyperthyroidism for dogs, and so it just burns. It burns it off of them basically. So
where can I get some of that?
I know, I wish.
I mean, gosh.
Well, it's funny, but her dad, you know, the one we call Drunk Craig, he doesn't. He's like been worried about her, so he doesn't eat as much as he needs to keep his weight up. So I got 2 scrawny MFers in the house, and I'm stress eating for everybody. So
you're eating for everyone.
I'm serious. I'm stress eating for everybody.
Right.
I'm like, damn it! Why can't I be the person that loses appetite when they get stressed out? I mean, come on.
You know, and it also sucks because as you get older, your metabolism will slow down more. So
well, my metabolism's gone. It's gone. Gonzo.
I mean, it's kind of wicked, right? It's like because you want to have a little bit of pleasure by what you eat and drink.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not talking about, you know, Twinkies or anything.
No.
If I eat a couple too many almonds, I gain weight.
Right.
It's bullshit. Whoever came up with this way our body I have an issue with God's plan.
I'm serious. What are you doing? What are you doing, big guy? What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
Make it easier.
Well, I'm trying to get into the endocrinologist to maybe get some a testosterone supplement, because I'm pretty sure that's what my issue is, and that's what my practitioner thinks that's the issue.
Well, testosterone does go down as we get older.
Yeah, but you know, not as much as it is. I got really low T. I got like microscopic T at the moment. I don't know whose channel I should be listening to. Well, figure it out, man. Just pick
what's
one.
your options?
Pick one and go.
Well, maybe they want us to talk about comics.
Yeah, I don't know.
Movies, right?
This is the hangout, man.
Oh, okay.
The way I advertise it is anything goes, any topic. I would, however, like to apologize to someone who I've wronged this week.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Her
name is Heather Ontos, and
oh god,
I was really mean to her the other day.
You paid.
Anyway, so she was doing this whole simulcasting is fun. Yeah, it is. But she was doing this whole thing like, why are y'all? She said y'all. That's probably what set me off. But she said y'all. Okay. Why are y'all so afraid of women characters? You know, and so it got on me a little bit. I got into flesh. I must admit, I got into the flesh a little bit. And so I posted a cover that happened at IDW while she was an editor there. Well, she still is an editor there. And let me see if I can bring it up right quick. It's I need this like so you know what I'm kind of like a visual representation. Okay. Let me bring it up right quick. I know exactly where it's at. 1 second here. Aha. Alrighty. So bring up. And see where browser view. Right there. Okay. Let me share this. Alright. This happened while she was an editor there. And share. Add to stream. So my question to her was, what are you afraid of editing? You know,
that doesn't even bother me as much as the image does. It's just so bad. It's like, look at that level of art.
I would not say that, but I think that's not comic books. That's something different. That's like editorial illustration.
Well, the thing about it was, is that's pretty much a representation of her. That somebody drew her basically. So she's denying that she had anything to do with it. Why don't you do your research? You'd see I wasn't the editor on that book.
It does look like her.
I know it does.
Okay.
It does.
I didn't realize that.
It does. That smirk and everything, right?
Yeah. And then she says that she has nothing to do with it, but it's her fucking image.
She said, "What? Earlier she was telling somebody, why don't you do your research? I'm not a writer." And yet in her bio it says she's a writer. I'm an editor. I'm not a writer. But it says in her bio she's a writer. Okay. So I and then she says, I had nothing to do with this book. Why don't you do your research? I wasn't the editor. And I was like, okay, it's like my research shows that you were hired in June 2021. This book came out November 2021. Let's count the months. So you were a senior editor at IDW for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. And you say you didn't see this book? You had nothing to do with this book?
Believe it.
It turned out what I was responding to, she basically already erased it because she figured out. But I'd gotten her to throw her fellow editors under the bus. And
sure, I'm sure she did.
And so she deleted it, but I was like, screen cap.
Right. You know, it's like these people, they're not, because they're left-wing people, there's no standard they're held to, right? Ever. In any realm. And so anybody that isn't on that scale of left-wing scale, then we have, somehow we're held to every standard.
This is hurting my brain. Let me get rid of it real quick.
You know, it's just one of those things where, they're so hypocritical.
Well, the thing about it was it was just so. I mean, this person is like a big boogeyman. I mean, she had her simps tried to hound Richard C. Meyer into suicide. I mean, she did her best.
I heard that about that.
She tried to end his career. They doxed him and his kids, and then even talked to his kids about how awful of a person he was. On while they were playing Xbox Live, and I mean, these people, they did all that shit, and on her behalf. Of course, she had nothing to do with it, right?
Of course not.
And you know what was over? It was over the fact that he called her a fake geek girl.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But
you know why he called her a fake geek girl? Because she got a tattoo of Shazam's lightning bolt and called him the Flash.
That's right. I do remember something like that. But then, so...
Hold on 1 second, guys.
But then she must have looked him up and said, who is this guy? And find out that he's not a left-winger. And so then that's when the knives come out.
I just think it's better off ignoring her. I don't give a shit what she thinks.
Well, I think it's... but if you ignore them, then they go about destroying everything.
Let me go in here. Audio.
Isn't the idea to sort of like make an effort to stop these people?
I'm already over it. The fact that they already destroyed comics. I'm just worried about. I only care about indie comics now. I don't even care about the mainstream anymore. I'm over it.
Right.
I'm over it.
Yeah.
That's probably a healthy approach.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I know it's pointless to even talk to this woman. I know it. I mean, I know it is, but I was just having fun.
Yeah, well, she deserves it. She's a bitch.
She block you yet?
I'm pretty sure she did. I didn't even bother to check. It doesn't matter to me. All right, let me see. Blue Samurai says, today's healthy upper range of healthy T is moderately low. T, which was 50 to 70 years ago. Okay. That's a portrait of her, even if it's unintentional. Yep, it is. One-sided oppression. The smirk is contempt. That's her only genuine expression. Yep, that's true. Is that April emoji as a cover? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It's a shit art.
Yeah, but Arple. It's Arple. It's not April. It's Arple. Okay. Her argument was that the book was commissioned before she came on board. It's a shell game, as you pointed out yesterday. Being senior editor she should find out all that's going on when she's hired. So that's a job. That's a job. This is what happens when you pose a purity test that you can't pass yourself. They don't have to answer to anyone. That's why they're held we are held to impossible standards. That's true. Yep.
Yep.
But anyway, so my apologies, Mrs. Ontos, if I have offended you in any way, shape, or form.
You know,
From the bottom of my heart.
A while back, I went on Frank Miller's Twitter stream. And I posted my cover in one of his streams, one of his posts. And I'm still waiting for him to get back to me.
He won't get back to you.
I said, Frank, what do you think on my cover? I wanted him to go give me a thumbs up or something. He never did.
He doesn't even handle his own social media.
I'm sure he doesn't. Yeah.
Not that guy.
He doesn't even do his own. He has someone else do his own reach arounds.
Yeah, pretty much.
Probably.
Yeah. Hey, I hire you for that. Get out. Get on it. Get on it.
You know, didn't he make a book about Muslims after 9/11?
Yeah, something like that, and that's what he got a bad rap about it. And then the SJWs attacked him for it, and then he's been like kind of blacklisted, I thought.
Holy Terror, I think's the name of it.
Something like that. I mean, he fell for I would say he fell for the deep state setup. Right? Hate those people because they did this. And then in the end, you realize 20 years later that it wasn't really them that did it. It was people in your own government that did it, right? So, I mean, that's my theory. That's how I see it. But, you know, so, you know, people hold him to his... They still look at him like he's a son of a bitch.
Now, let me tell you what put him in the crosshairs. The same thing that got Chris Claremont in the crosshairs a little while ago, okay?
Okay.
Just the other day. But he was sitting there beside a Tom King, and he went on this rant.
I saw this. Go ahead.
About making Batman emo, and he's sitting there right beside Tom King, and he was kind of like slanted a little bit towards Tom King the whole entire time, and Tom King's just sitting there like, yeah, he's aimed at me, and that's what got him in the crosshairs basically. So
Tom King was in the CIA. He was at some point he was military intelligence of some sort.
Yeah, he was a
dickhead online, though. I know that.
Yeah, he wasn't good at his job. That's for sure.
Well, I guess my point is, he's used to using subversive tactics, right? He's not unfamiliar. I'm not used to doing that, right? I don't live my life that way.
Yeah.
But once you train somebody to think in those terms, he'll put that in his comics, right? No problem. So I have no problem with destroying Batman. Agenda.
Well, propaganda is really easy. It's fundamentally easy to learn. I mean, when you see the brain dead retards that are, you know, distributing propaganda today, it's obviously a very easy thing to pick up. And all it basically is tell the bullshit until you believe it yourself, and then completely gaslight everybody else that you believed it true all along. That's all it is.
Right.
That's all they're doing. I mean, if I wanted to, I could do that, but you have to have no integrity, personal integrity whatsoever to pull it off, and I just can't pull it off. You know.
Well, you know, it also says something about the military. I'm sorry, the person, because if you
two words combined, it just don't make sense. Yep.
if you're a person that, like, say you're a Christian, let me pull that back. Let's just say you generally try to be an honest person.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not gonna want to do those things because you see the negative effects, right? So you're already at a disadvantage when you're going up against people like that because they have no morals, right?
Yeah.
If they can get you to murder yourself, like Zach, right? Then you know, fuck it, let's do it, right? Well, let's get this guy to off himself, and you know, I didn't do anything, right? And that's an evil type of person to me, but you're already at a disadvantage, right?
Well, when you consider that Jesus Christ was basically the victim of one of the best propaganda, campaigns that in human history. I mean, it was
Still
basically
is.
it was basically put on by Satan himself. Okay, think about this: the week before, they're shouting Hosanna, they're throwing their robes down, they're waving palm fronds. By the next Friday, they're yelling, "Crucify him!"
That's true.
That is a brilliant propaganda right there. I mean, they're like, "Hey, here's this monster murderer Barabbas. You know, this guy that's like murdering you people. Here you can either have him out in society murdering you again, or you can have this guy who absolutely has nobody has any problems with whatsoever. Oh, we want that guy. We want the murderer."
Right. You know what? One of my favorite stories about human nature is when the Hebrews, after God parts the water and they walk through. So this is all done. Okay, they're walking through the desert now, and they're like, well, what's next? This sucks. We're starved. The kids don't have any water. We don't have any food. So I'm thinking to myself, if God parted the waters in front of my eyes, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Okay?
Right.
I'm going to trust, because at that point, okay, if you need anything after that point, but human nature isn't like that. Right?
No.
I mean, and we could see the waters part, and then the next day we're bitching and moaning.
Yep.
Right? And that's who we are. And it's like, that's the thing about like the America and the founding Constitution. It's based on human nature. Human nature sucks.
Yeah.
And you don't have a right to do that to other people.
Right.
So people could talk about changing it, how people are modern somehow. I'm like, no, there's no such thing as modern people. We're all the same. We're all damaged people, and we're never going to change. And you can try, but human nature was always the same.
Hell Wolfier.
Wolfler.
Hell Wolfler. I've always thought it was an interesting statement on mankind in general. When you look at the Apostle Peter, okay, this guy walked with him, one of the three that was closest with him. Even went up to the mountain of transfiguration and saw him
That's true.
glowing like a halogen bulb, and then went all the way down to the end. And what did the sucker do? Looked him right in the eye and denied him that third time. Looked him right in the eye when he denied him the third time.
But but he's the first pope, don't you know?
Oh yeah.
Don't you know that?
Right.
Because
My fault.
and then they gave no instructions as to what happens when Peter's done, right? They didn't say after Peter you have to go through a process, right? They didn't do any of that, right? It's always kind of crazy. Like that's always like, would you base your church on the fact that Peter's the chosen one, or would you base your church on the fact that Christ is the Son of the living God?
Yeah.
Which is immutable, which can never change.
Right.
Which one are you going to do?
Well, let me take it even further. The Roman Empire never fell.
Oh, yeah, totally.
It just changed to the Roman Catholic Church.
And you know what's ironic? This is, and what I'm going to say is true. Some of the Catholics that I know are the most devout people that I know. And they know more about the Bible than I know. But the thing you just said is probably true, right? It's probably, at some point it's like there is a scam going on, and I don't know exactly what that scam is, but you're right. Maybe you know, but I don't.
I don't know. I don't know anything, man. I don't even ask the questions. I leave that up to they leave you and Belmont, man. But one thing it's interesting to me. Is when they're making all this choice right now to flood our America with Roman Catholics, and then the big thing they're going to run on in the fall that they want all these people illegally to vote for is abortion.
Right.
They're talking about doing abortion votes.
No, they're talking. They're making that the big issue that they're going to run on. is abortion. The fact that Roe v. Wade fell, and then that you have to vote us in so we can maintain abortion, and it's like, all you Roman Catholics, we need you to vote for this now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I don't trust any elections anymore.
I don't either.
No, me either.
I mean, they can say it's this and they can say it's that. I'll tell you, nothing's changed since 2020, and I don't believe it's going to change unless I see evidence.
I saw the
Right.
totals change right on the TV on election night. They just like disappeared, like from Trump's column. I was like, what? Just gone.
That's in your head. This is the that was the most perfect election we've ever had.
Safe and securest election of all time.
Just so you know, statistically, it's perfectly likely for somebody to get 100% of all votes counted from 2 o'clock in the morning until about 8 o'clock.
I know, right?
It's perfectly statistically likely for that to happen. With no observers, when there's no observers around, that's just perfectly statistically likely. I mean,
What are
So-
you saying,
I don't know what
buddy?
you're talking about. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything.
After the election, I'm in Detroit here, so I went down to Cobo Hall.
Ah,
Cobo, it's what they call the TCF Center, but that's where they voted. They collected everything and tallied the votes. But I went down there the next day, and you can clearly, if you've lived in Detroit, a guy named Coleman Young ran the city for 40 years.
Yeah.
And he was a communist pretending to be a Democrat.
Mhm.
And he basically destroyed the city and turned it into like a...
Turn
the
it
set-
to Detroit.
he turned
Turn
it
it
into
to
the setting
Detroit,
for Shadowpunk is what he did. Okay?
A mini
So-
Chicago.
He turned it to Gotham City,
He
basically.
turned it into Gotham City. And so when you're down there, you recognize the fact that these people didn't learn how to do it overnight, how to cheat these votes. They've been doing it for decades. And they've been getting paid for decades.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it took the pandemic to change the rules enough to do it, but I'm just expecting another pandemic to hit. I'm waiting for it to hit. So
Monkeypox.
monkeypox. I don't know the monkeypox is going to be it though, because monkeypox
They just
is
declared it a national emergency.
Oh,
Biden
really?
did. Yes.
There's only like a few thousand people even had it, and you have to get it by personal contact.
Pretty soon you'll have to take the
Personal
vaccination,
contact.
bunny.
Well, I don't plan on having butt slapping sex with the street hobo. So
I can't do that anymore? Oh.
no, denied. You're
Denied.
denied. No butt slapping sex with a street hobo. No.
Yeah, it's I think that the way these people work is that they're going to keep doing these pandemic things and get you people used to following orders, but they usually follow up one bullshit thing with a different bullshit thing, right? I know the climate. They're going to do the climate thing, and they're going to. I don't know how they're. I'm guessing that they're going to do something like they're going to engineer natural disasters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? To make sure that you're shocked that people are like new Katrinas or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't even know what they're going to do.
Right.
So it's always something different to keep you on your toes, And people, it's kind of weird. It's like you talk to anybody about this stuff, a normal person, a normie, they don't believe that people would ever do something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, why wouldn't they do it? It works. What's stopping them?
I'm back, T-Bunny. I was sharing this to my church group. Wait a minute.
Wait, I got breaking news. Breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Olivia Newton-John dead at 73.
No way.
Oh, that's awful.
She finally got the cancer, right? She died of cancer.
She never lost the cancer. She's had it like on
Really?
and off.
Yeah, breast cancer in 1992, went in remission, came back in 2013, went back into remission, but resurfaced again in 2017.
Yeah.
So a 30-year cancer journey. She lost her battle.
Yeah.
I was just listening to one of her music videos today. I was like, she was. If you want to have the epitome of a hot babe, She was it for a long time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Man, it stinks. I liked her. Yep, we all did. The big items that Democrats will run on be gay rights, abortion, climate change. That's all they care about. That's their holy trinity.
Green energy.
Green energy, yeah. That, you remember? I mean, it's funny because she had this during the movie Grease. Okay, have you ever seen a bigger transformation between scenes than her showing up in those leather pants?
Right.
Yeah, she was literally sewed into those things. I mean, they literally were. They sewed her into them. She had to like rip them to take them off. I mean,
you know a little bit too much about that, Bunny.
I know trivia, man. That's just the trivia thing, you know.
Well,
Besides,
you know,
some morbid curiosity as to how a woman gets in those things, you know, like that. I mean, that's pretty tight. That was pretty tight.
She was her that look at the end, and then her look, like she was a quintessential
girl next door.
Girl next door in the hottest sense, right?
Yeah.
And then she went right to the opposite, right?
Yeah.
And they're both so potent. So I mean, if you had shown somebody that 200 years ago, they would go, "What is going on?"
Right. Well, I was shocked that John Travolta was able to stay with her in that duet, because I mean that
true.
He was basically singing an octave above her in the harmony.
Right.
That's pretty incredible. I mean, I never knew. I knew he could. I knew he like sang a little bit, but I didn't know he had that range. You know.
That's true.
And that little trail off, that little yelp, you know, the yodel that they did. You're the one that I want. You know.
Right.
That is so hard to get, man.
Those songs, you know, I'm not a big musical fan. I always wonder why they're taking so long to say what they have to say. So you got to make it good, make it real good. And I think Grease is one of those where you go, it's worth it. The songs are really well written and they make sense. You want to, you know, I saw that movie Les Miserables.
Yeah.
And I read the book, which is huge, right? It's like that thick. And I'd seen the play, which I really like too.
Yeah.
The movie I couldn't stand. I'm like, why are they taking so long to say let's go?
It's not really a good musical. It's not paced very well at all.
Is that right?
It just has some really incredible set piece songs, but it's really not paced very well at all.
Well, maybe you're right, and maybe it's got to do with it's a really good story.
Yeah. Well, Jean Valjean is one of the greatest protagonists in literary history. I mean, it's a great story. Great story. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if that's been like, you know. Hold up. It says, were you getting physical, Shadowpunk?
I was, man.
Let me hear that body talk.
Shadowpunk, the shredder, he hates music. He thinks it's the worst. He doesn't hate music. He just hates meandering in music. He like,
you know, I'm a content-oriented person. I'm not like a emotional-oriented person in that way. Like some people love music. I'm kind of
you probably love the Ramones then. You know?
Sure. I mean, well, okay.
Bam, over. Song over.
You're right. Repetition.
I'm going to be sedated. You know. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, so you know, some people like prog metal, which is like 15-minute long song. You know, some people like done, over, move on. You know.
I'll tell you, but it's always, to me, that's the bar is you have to get it to make it worth it. The song should be good enough to where it's worth it taking all that time. Right.
See, Les Miserables, am I right? Les Miserables, am I right?
Well, Victor Hugo is also criticized now, and I think it's probably true, for being one of the early SJWs. Because his books, like especially Les Mis, is about the downtrodden.
Did you know that Victor Hugo wrote Rent.
I heard something like that.
Rent is based on Le Bohème.
Interesting.
So.
I mean, they'll
Which is basically is the bums, you know.
it's kind of crazy. I mean, the French never really got the whole concept of freedom like we did.
Mm-mm.
It was
No.
freedom, but we gotta use force, and we have to have some type of totalitarian government, whether it's socialist or it's
Well, the French were never able to do revolution without eating their own. You know,
good
I
point.
mean, they
Good
don't
point.
know what to do with freedom once they get it. You know,
Right, right.
Eventually they like default back to somebody ruling over them. You know.
Do you think that that's got something? And I don't want to get in hot water with all the people watching, but do you have, is it like a Roman Catholic, we're in control type thing?
Yep.
Because, America's not a Roman Catholic country. It's more of a Protestant country.
Mm-hmm.
So, they might have a different mentality in the way they live life.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's entirely true. Hold on. Any Ramones song over 3.5 minutes is considered an epic. Yeah, pretty much. Les Mis. That's not why. That's not very SJW of him. It should be Les Mis. Right. But I mean, there's some Les Mis songs that are pretty good. I mean, that "Bring 'Em Home" is gorgeous. And of course, every time Susan Boyle sang "I Dreamed a Dream," I mean,
Sure, right.
That bridge just gets me every time.
It's really, I mean, you're right. They do have some really good hooks.
Oh
Really
yeah,
powerful ones for sure.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of these musicals that have like really good songs, and you remember them for the songs. Like Cats has some really good songs, but the musical is shit. It's a horrible, horrible musical. Horrible. I mean, there's no point to it. It has holes in it big enough to drive a transfer truck through, but it has memories, and some other great songs,
Right.
But it just sucks as a musical. It really does.
Do you remember that Saturday Night Live skit about cats?
They definitely have a furry agenda, by the way. They definitely have a furry agenda.
Oh yeah.
Well, didn't they try to remake the movie? They made it into a movie musical a while back, and the people fucking hated it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It's one of the biggest bombs of all time. I don't know what they were thinking. But there's like a narrative thread that ran through Cats that was the only thing that held it together, and they threw it out.
Oh, okay.
For the movie, and so the movie there's like one little narrative thread that went the whole way through.
What was that? Do you remember?
Yeah, the narrative thread the whole way through is that there's this, basically somebody has to be chosen to die. And it's like the whole entire thing is set up to figure out who the one's worthy of to die.
What? It's like Children of the Corn?
Yeah, well, not really. They're cats. So what can I say? They're cats. But the whole entire thing is basically it's like choosing who's worthy enough to take that journey, take that to the next level, and it's all about this one cat named Grisabella being accepted back into the group and being picked for that choice, right? And so what they did was they took the heart of it out, which is that one thing, because I don't know, they thought it was too weird or too strange of a concept, and so it basically just became all these disjointed people like doing set pieces and numbers, like, oh, I recognize that person, or I recognize that person. And it lost everything that made the musical the musical.
Was that thread? Was it Messiah-esque or no?
No, it's more like Rebirth. It's basically, basically choosing the person that needs this the worst. Needs this rebirth the worst. And it's like everybody's vying for this thing, and they basically took that subplot almost completely out of it, or they buried it underneath. All the set pieces. And so what was already a shitty, flimsy, musical to start with became completely pointless and completely bloated and became just god-awful.
Wow.
My friend, that Brent Craig is a musical, like he loves Rodgers and Hammerstein. You know, he loves the old musical. He actually is I think I call him a theater tenor. You know, he's not operatic, but he's like a show tune kind of singing tenor. I mean, he'll sing "Oh Danny Boy" in a way it'll make every hair on your neck stand.
That's a great song.
Incredible voice, and he loves musicals. And we watched that thing, and he was sitting there the whole time, and he's like, "I think they missed the point." And I was like, "There's a point." He's like, "Yeah, yeah. Believe it or not, there is a point to this. There's supposed to be a point, you know." But
you know, one of the things I learned when I was writing my animated movie that I want is that point right there, because I not being a skilled writer, I realized when it was too late that I wanted the last scene to be the point of the movie.
Right.
And I wanted you to go, oh, right. And I think the reason, you know, I'm an artist, I'm not a writer. So I realized that that's super satisfying for people.
Yeah.
To actually have a payoff at the end.
Right.
And as gimmicky as it sounds, it does make it easier and funner for people to read.
Well, I think you have to have the payoff, like really, it's got to be in the third act.
I see, right.
But it can be like early on in the third act. Then you can have like, you know, kind of a ramp down, you know, where things happen after this happened.
Right, to set you up for the next.
Right.
Right.
But it's all about the pacing of things.
It really is.
If you're not a writer, you're not going to recognize it, you know. And I get a lot of comic books from people that, quite frankly, have never written anything before. And usually the pacing's off. The climax is too early or too late or too inconsequential. And they just have no sense of what it takes to make a good story. And that takes years. I mean, I'm not going to pick up a pen and draw Cyber Frog to the level of Ethan Van Sciver.
Right.
Okay? But I guarantee you Ethan Van Sciver cannot write a story as good as I can.
I believe it.
Guarantee it. Okay?
Right.
Because I've been working on it.
Right.
You know, while he was like off in Burbank, like drawing for Marvel and DC or whatever, I was sitting at home typing away and figuring out how to work through character, figuring out how to build a world Bible, figuring out how to set up a plot, figuring out how to move things around, you know, figuring out pacing, figuring out where the climax has to come in the story, you know, well, what to do after the climax, you know. And
stop saying climax, you get me horny.
Oh my gosh. Well, but you know,
by the way, Belmont is not a writer. Okay.
Oh, you know? I thought he was.
No, he paid Mike Barron.
Oh, did you really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. He realized that, like a lot of these people don't. He said, "Okay, I don't have the skill set to pull this off. Let me hire somebody that does." So,
sure.
I gave him all the credit for that. However, climax is not just about sex. You weed head.
Payoff. Payoff might be a better word.
Payoff.
Or you know, or
yeah, but it doesn't have the same punch. It doesn't have the same punch.
You're a Southerner. You can come up with a better word than climax. I mean, you probably have 50 words that describe it.
I thought you called that the rising action.
No, rising action is something different than a climax.
Crescendo.
Rising action, crescendo works. We'll say crescendo.
I thought rising action was the climax, the top of the rising action.
Finale.
Now, rising action is what leads up to the, whatever word we're going to use, okay, that doesn't get Belmont horny. All right.
Well, you know, it's funny. I bought a lot of...
Crescendo. We'll use crescendo.
Over the last year, I've gotten a lot of crowdfunded books of various kinds, and some of them are really done well. Some of them are actually loaded with words. Loaded. And I'm like, I don't want to read Les Mis again. I read it once. It was a chore, right? It's and then the other thing too is your formula that you're describing is great, but then once a reader recognizes that's a formula, then you have to change it,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. Like I've got right here, just a hand. I haven't completely read it yet. I read the. Okay, this is shit.
Is it
Job-
okay?
Jawbreakers, Grand Bazaar, waited 3 years, and it's shit.
Really? Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
The story, right? Not the art.
Yeah, except for the next story in the back, which is a repurposed Punisher. I can tell. This is the most god awful thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, I got that.
Yeah,
I tell you, I like the black and white artwork. I thought he did a good job doing that. I haven't read it yet.
Well, read it and then get back to me.
Fair enough.
Trust me. Okay. This is decent. This is
Yeah.
really good.
He's a pretty good artist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, bear in mind it's a different kind of story. It's kind of like one of those. I don't know. I guess it's like a Texera style story where there's really no heroes in it. You know, it's just, you know, even the basically he beats up on a guy who's actually the closest thing to a good guy in the whole entire thing for sleeping with his wife, his ex-wife actually.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's a little tough read, but it's well written. I'll give it that. It's pretty well written. Hold on 1 second. I'm waiting for T-Bunny to hold up my book. This is crap. I don't have your book yet, Salazar. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
man.
I'm shipping your book last.
Oh, he's okay.
After
Okay,
that.
well, the thing about it is the problem with Richard C. Meyer books. All the Richard C. Meyer books I've gotten, and I can tell. I mean, there's one that where Chuck Dixon is listed as the writer, but I know Chuck didn't write very much of that book because it has the same problems that all Richard C. Meyer books have, and that is none of his characters are likable in any way, shape, or form.
Really?
You don't root for any of them. I mean, he's got a character that he pushes as the hero of the book. Silkworm's his name, but I've never liked the guy. I've never liked him once. And he's supposed to be like the good guy, but there's nothing really likable about him.
Well, let me ask you a question then. Okay, so part of the CG community is a lot of people have that sell their books. They have their own channel, and their personality drives a lot of the people that buy the books.
Yeah.
Is that healthy for a good quality product that indie comics are going to try to create?
Well, I can tell you this. I have very little faith that $3 million book that just came out is going to be good.
Right.
And I'll just say that much. I have very little faith. I think I saw him from Young Rippa. It's going to be a black eye.
Really?
And the reason I say that is because there's no editor, there's no writer, and the art looks boring. What would you say?
So art.
It looks so. It does definitely, and I know. Whoop, we lost Shadowhawk. Anyway, lost him again. Of course, I lost all the ambient noises behind.
Yeah, I was used to that. I was like enjoying it.
It's putting you to sleep, huh?
Yeah.
There he
There
is.
you
There
go.
he's back. There he's back.
After we're done, I want to show you something.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Show you guys
Okay.
something.
All right.
Off air, of course.
After the climax, right?
Yeah, after
Yeah,
the
that would be-
after the denouement. That'll be denouement. Denouement. There you
Well, you know, just the whole thing about personality selling books as opposed
Yeah.
does that get you quality books? Because back to your point that you've made multiple times,
Mhm.
if you're going to have a strong market for, and it's going to last, you have to
Yeah.
have good quality product.
go. Yeah.
And does that produce that? I don't
No.
know. Maybe it varies from.
Well,
person to
let me
person.
ask you a question. Does a used car salesman that's really good at his job guarantee that the cars are going to be good?
Well, no. I mean, they don't. That's part of the deal. You get
Who
what
guarantees that the car's going to be good? The mechanic.
Sure. But some people are both. You know.
Well, that's pretty rare. That's pretty rare.
But
Trust me, I worked on a car like the salesmen have nothing to do with mechanics.
Well, my point is, so Ethan is both.
In fact, they're cats and dogs.
Ethan does the book and he sells the product, right? Which is, you know, but he's maybe an exception because he's a veteran, a 30-year veteran, right?
Yeah.
You know, because you've mentioned it before, and I thought that's probably a good point. So if we don't have good product over the next 10 years, will the market disappear for these books?
It will. It will
turn into Image.
It'll turn into
shit.
Image.
Image, that's right.
Yeah, and it'll just be remembered, oh, the art was really good. Oh my God, the art. You remember a character? No. You remember a story? No. I remember Spawn. Well, it's because Spawn's being still in the shelves somewhere, you know?
Right.
But the truth of the matter is, you will never find anybody that can tell you the whole entire Wildcats lineup.
I definitely cannot. I did not like,
without a Google.
I didn't like
without a
Image
Google.
when it came out. I was the thing we're talking about. Kind of, I felt that with Image. None of the characters resonated like the Punisher, right, or whatever. You know.
Well, they're all rip-offs because they didn't have any creativity. Everybody was ripped off of somebody else. I mean, I was just saying the other day that if you hold up Psyblade and Psylocke side by side, you won't be able to tell the difference between them. You'll just think that Psylocke got a new costume.
Really?
I mean, the shape of her blade was the exact same.
Is it really?
Yeah. I mean, it was he wanted to write Psylocke, so he made a Psylocke, you know. But I mean, there's no creativity there, and eventually that dried up. I mean, eventually people they said that at one time they flooded the market, and they weren't selling, and they were so plentiful that firefighters were using them to do firefighting exercises because they were very flammable.
Wow.
So that's pretty bad right there.
That was the Image guys. That was another problem. They sold so many comic books that they're not really worth. Maybe there are certain ones that are worth a lot, but
Yeah.
you know, at some point you're like,
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the problem. I mean, there were just a bunch of artists that got away from editorial and got away from the writers, and like, oh, we're free. We can write whatever story we want. And then they just sat there crickets chirping because they didn't know what story they didn't know how to write a story. And so it's like, now that we have all this freedom, now maybe we should learn how to do what we're happy and free to do. You know.
well, hold on. Was Deadpool always a Marvel character, or was he Image?
Yeah, I was always Marvel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Liefeld, but basically he ripped off Deathstroke the Terminator.
Is that what he? Well,
He took the Joker and Deathstroke the Terminator and put them in a blender.
well, that is comic books, right? I mean, at some level, Batman is not so different than Owlman, or right? That's kind of fair.
Wade Wilson, Slade Wilson.
Oh, ouch.
You smell what the Rock is cooking?
Totally,
You smell?
yeah, totally.
You smell that? Yeah. Okay.
Well,
All right. I'm sorry. Indie wrestler got me going. Hey, man.
you have to admit, though, even if your point is correct, that at least Deadpool is still kicking.
That's because somebody else wrote him.
So either way, he created a cool character that still resonates.
Yeah, he did, but the truth of the matter is he was the merc with the mouth for a little while there, but he didn't really work until he basically took Cable, like the opposite of him, and those two like made each other basically, because if you didn't have that dichotomy between Cable, who was controlled to the extreme amount, I mean, anal retentively controlling. And then you had Deadpool, who's like I'm Merc with a mouth. I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to teleport in and shoot everybody. I mean,
Right.
and so it's like you had like that id, and you had the ego. And it worked. It worked, but it was like dumb luck, really.
True. A lot of them are. I mean, sometimes you think the early Marvel guys, came up.
Mark
They're just
Kent. Mark Kent. I love
they're
it.
throwing
Love
stuff at the wall, trying to see which ones people like, right?
it. Yeah. Right.
I mean, that is part of the game.
Well, the thing about it though is you shouldn't write to what people like. You should write the character as it is. And people may like it or they may not, but you should write the character as it is, because authenticity is more important than writing to people's taste. But
it is tricky. You're right, because it's if you write to the crowd, in a day they won't like it anymore.
yeah,
Right, but then again, you do have to eat.
you do have to eat, yes, and there's a certain amount of crowd pleasing that has to go on for your book to sell.
But you make a
But-
good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
Anyway, hold on one second. Let me write this. I was joking. I have 6 copies left on Etsy. I have the PDF on Gunroad. I can send you the PDF if you like. Go ahead. Go ahead, man. But do it only if you want criticism and not, if you want my actual opinion.
He's not gonna blow smoke up your ass.
No, I'm not. I'm taking notes on everything. T-Bunny is saying the things I can apply for the next book. There's 2 shows of mine that you should watch, okay? Pulp versus Noir and Pulp or Noir. The 2 writers' room. Those 2 completely have changed my view on how to write entirely. And it's the source code. It's the source code for storytelling, modern storytelling.
Totally.
So if you don't watch anything else from me, watch those 2 shows. Trust me. Anyway, let me see if there's anybody else right here. Hell Indy. Okay, that's it.
Can
So
I,
that's for my character, Mark Kent. Love it, love it, love it.
can I say? I want to say one thing. So on my
ahead.
on Shadow Punk, I am $50 away from my first stretch goal.
Yeah.
So which is 6,000.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna probably, well, I shouldn't say it, but I'm probably gonna give away the stretch goal prize anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's anybody out there that hasn't bought it yet in the audience,
Yeah.
now's the time.
All right. All right. Hey, Belmont, could you put that link over there?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
He's working on it. All right. I'll put it in the description when we're done here.
Yeah, I mean, it just occurred to me. I'm like, what the heck,
Why not? Why not? Who knows? Who knows? Stranger things have happened. I was able to give you a bunny bump when we were closing that thing
I
out.
got a bunny bump, no doubt about it. I did, I really did.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. Maybe it was like,
Mhm. I think it was like $200, $300, wasn't it?
It
About
was
$200, $300.
probably, yeah, probably.
Yeah. It was. I was like, woohoo!
Yeah, it worked.
Hold on one second. Hojo says, okay, I'm caught up. My Image's problem was that they sold a lot of number 1s and then people were waiting to follow up. The follow-ups were shit. Yeah. Because when the first one, they had months to work on it, but then they didn't have any plan beyond that. So that's what happens.
Well, your thing about Richard C. Meyer
Mm-hmm.
is it goes back to my original point, because he has the videos that everybody watches because he's good at critiquing shit that's going on. And you're like, the books are not that good. And I'm like, it says a lot. It says...
Yeah.
Because I remember one video, when I used to watch his videos, he would say, I might not even be doing this in a year or 2.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's been looking for the exit almost as soon as he got through the door.
Okay.
So,
Interesting.
yeah, I was okay with that, and then I figured out that, I wasn't. So,
Okay.
so I'll watch them. There's nothing I can do about my current book it's made already, but I'll take any advice to improve on the next book. Hey, man, that's all we can do. That's all we can do is work for the next one. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Thanks for coming on, Shadowpunk and Belmont. Hopefully next time I will launch it with the actual opening and everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to. No promises. No promises. Anyway, back Shadow Punk. You know, before it goes away, and Belmont's fulfilling Smokes and Weaponized Werewolf shortly.
Yep. Probably in a few days I'll start throwing them in the mail.
All right, but I'm getting my last evidently, so no big deal.
No, I was just joking, but I saw how you were handling those other ones.
What?
Got me kind of worried.
They're still in the plastic. They're in the plastic. See?
You don't got a fireplace over there, do you?
No, this still exists, right? Anyway, all right. Well, anyway, thank you guys for coming. And y'all have a very good afternoon, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Tell me what's on your mind.